The woods whispered, leaves rustled, something was hidden deep inside. Two friends, Max and Maya, loved exploring.
I dare you to go first.
Max said, a mischievous glint in his eye.
Fine, scaredy cat.
They ventured into the woods. The sunlight faded, shadows grew long and eerie.
Do you hear that?
Maya whispered, clutching Max's arm. A low hum vibrated through the air. It seemed to come from deeper within the woods. They walked further. The hum grew louder. Then, they saw it. A box lay nestled beneath the giant oak tree. It was wooden and old. Strange symbols adorned its sides.
Whoa.
Max breathed, his eyes wide with awe.
What do you think is inside?
Maya cautiously touched the box. It felt warm, pulsing faintly with the strange hum. Her voice was barely a whisper. As they reached for the box, the woods came alive. The trees swayed, although there was no wind. The humming grew louder, vibrating the air around them. Maya felt a strange pull towards the box.
We should leave.
Max said, his voice shaky. But Maya couldn't resist. She had to know what secrets the box held. She gripped the lid of the box. Her fingers tingled with a strange energy.
Help me open it.
She whispered, her eyes locked on the mysterious symbols. Max hesitated for a moment, fear battling with curiosity. He couldn't leave Maya. The forest around them was dense, the trees whispering secrets of old. Shadows danced on the ground, creating an eerie atmosphere that made Max's heart race. He glanced at Maya, who seemed equally torn between fear and the thrill of discovery. They had heard stories about this place, tales of hidden treasures and ancient mysteries. But standing here now, it all felt too real, too overwhelming. Taking a deep breath, he helped her lift the heavy lid. The box was ancient, covered in intricate carvings that seemed to tell a story of their own. As they struggled with the weight, Max felt a strange energy emanating from it, as if the box itself was alive. Maya's determination was unwavering, her eyes fixed on their task. Together, they managed to lift the lid, revealing the contents inside. The humming reached a crescendo as the box creaked open. It was a sound unlike anything they had ever heard, a mix of musical notes and whispers. The air around them seemed to vibrate with anticipation. Max's heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing the rhythm of the humming. He exchanged a glance with Maya, both of them knowing that whatever was inside this box was beyond their wildest imaginations. A blinding light erupted from within. It was so intense that they had to shield their eyes. The light seemed to pulse, growing brighter, and then dimming, as if it had a life of its own. Max felt a warmth spreading through him, a comforting sensation that contrasted with the initial shock. He could hear Maya gasp beside him, her voice filled with awe and wonder. When the light faded, they saw it. Nestled inside the box was an object unlike any they had ever seen. It was a small, intricately designed artifact, glowing with a soft, ethereal light. Max reached out to touch it, feeling a connection as soon as his fingers brushed against its surface. Maya's eyes widened, her mind racing with possibilities. What was this object? Why was it hidden here? And what did it mean for them? A staircase spiraled down into the earth, bathed in an ethereal glow. It seemed to beckon them, inviting them to explore its depths. The steps were made of a material that shimmered in the light, giving the entire staircase an otherworldly appearance. Max felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the beginning of an adventure that would change their lives forever.
This is impossible. Max's voice trembled as he spoke, the reality of the situation sinking in. He had always dreamed of discovering something extraordinary, but this was beyond anything he could have imagined. The staircase seemed to stretch on forever, disappearing into the darkness below. He turned to Maya, seeking reassurance in her eyes.
Max stammered, his voice a mixture of fear and wonder. He had always been the cautious one, the one who thought things through. But now, standing on the brink of the unknown, he felt a pull, a desire to see what lay beyond. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath, waiting for their next move. Max knew that this was a turning point, a moment that would define their journey.
Come on, let's see where it leads. Maya's voice was filled with excitement, her adventurous spirit shining through. She had always been the brave one, the one who pushed them to explore and take risks. Max felt a surge of confidence, inspired by her enthusiasm. He nodded, taking her hand as they stepped onto the first glowing step. The staircase felt solid beneath their feet, a reassuring presence in the midst of the unknown.
Maya, her eyes sparkling with excitement, grabbed his hand. Together, they began their descent, each step taking them deeper into the mystery. The air grew cooler as they went down, the light from the staircase illuminating their path. Max felt a sense of anticipation building within him, a feeling that they were on the verge of something incredible. He glanced at Maya, her face glowing with excitement, and knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. They descended slowly, each step echoing in the silence. The air was thick with anticipation, every creak of the old wooden steps sending shivers down their spines. It felt as though the darkness was alive, wrapping around them like a heavy cloak, making each breath a laborious task. The only sound was the rhythmic thud of their footsteps, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence that seemed to swallow everything else. The air grew colder, heavy with the scent of moss and something ancient. It was as if they had stepped back in time, into a place untouched by the modern world. The walls, covered in a thick layer of moss, seemed to whisper secrets of a bygone era. Each breath they took was filled with the musty scent of decay and history, a reminder of the countless years that had passed since this place had last seen light.
The staircase. It opened into a vast chamber. The sheer size of the room was overwhelming, its boundaries lost in the shadows. The dim light barely penetrated the darkness, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls. It was a place that seemed to defy the very concept of time, a hidden world waiting to be discovered. It's so dark, except for that single point of light in the distance. It was a beacon, a glimmer of hope in the oppressive darkness. The light seemed to call to them, urging them to move forward, to uncover the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows. It was a promise of something extraordinary, something that could change everything.
What is that? The question hung in the air, a reflection of the curiosity and fear that gripped them. It was a moment of uncertainty, a crossroads where they had to decide whether to proceed or turn back. The unknown was both terrifying and exhilarating, a mystery that begged to be solved.
Max whispered, his grip tightening on Maya's hand. "We have to see what it is," he said, his voice barely audible. The bond between them was their anchor, a source of strength in the face of the unknown. They moved forward together, their steps synchronized, their hearts beating in unison. As they drew closer, the light grew stronger, revealing a crystal pulsing with energy. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, a marvel of nature that seemed to defy explanation. The crystal's glow was mesmerizing, a dance of light and color that filled the room with a sense of wonder and awe. The hum they had heard in the woods emanated from this crystal, filling the chamber with its rhythmic beat. It was a sound that resonated deep within them, a melody that spoke to their very souls. The crystal was alive, a beacon of energy and light that held the promise of untold power and mystery. They stood there, captivated by its beauty, knowing that their lives would never be the same again. Etched into the walls around the crystal were the same strange symbols that adorned the box.
They looked like some kind of ancient language.
Maya traced the symbols with her fingers. Suddenly, the symbols began to glow. The light from the crystal intensified, bathing the chamber in its brilliance. Max and Maya shielded their eyes, awestruck by the spectacle unfolding before them. The symbols swirled and danced, forming images that shifted and changed like a kaleidoscope. One by one, the images became clear. They told a story of a forgotten people who had lived in harmony with the forest. The crystal, they learned, was a source of great power and wisdom, entrusted to their care.
But greed and envy had poisoned their hearts, leading to their downfall.
The last image faded, leaving them in stunned silence. They now understood the weight of the secret they had stumbled upon. The chamber held more than just stories. It was a vault of history, a silent witness to the passage of time. The air was thick with the scent of aged parchment and the faint, lingering aroma of incense, as if the spirits of the past still roamed these hallowed halls. Treasures lay scattered around the crystal glittering jewels, ancient artifacts and relics that whispered secrets of a bygone era. Each item seemed to hold a story, a fragment of a larger narrative that had been lost to the sands of time, and scrolls filled with lost knowledge. These scrolls, with their delicate faded ink, contained the wisdom of ancient scholars, the philosophies of forgotten civilizations, and the chronicles of empires that had risen and fallen. But Max and Maya knew these riches were not theirs to take. They understood that they were mere visitors in this sacred space, guardians of a legacy that was not theirs to claim. The treasures belonged to the forest, to the memory of the people who had once called it home. They belonged to the forest, to the memory of the people who had once called it home. The forest itself seemed to breathe with the history of its inhabitants, its trees standing as silent sentinels over the treasures hidden within.
We should leave everything untouched, Max. These artifacts are not just objects. They are the essence of a culture, a people, and a time that we can only begin to understand.
They left everything undisturbed, taking only photographs and memories. Each snapshot was a testament to their respect for the past, a promise to preserve the sanctity of the chamber and its contents. As they climbed back up the staircase, they sealed the box, returning it to its resting place beneath the oak tree. This act was a symbolic gesture, a way of ensuring that the treasures would remain protected, hidden from those who might seek to exploit them. The sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the forest. Max and Maya stood in silence, watching as the light filtered through the leaves, creating a mosaic of shadows and light. They knew that they had done the right thing, honoring the past and preserving it for future generations. As they walked away, they noticed ancient carvings on a nearby tree, symbols that spoke of a time when the forest was alive with the voices of its people. These carvings were a reminder that the past was never truly gone, but lived on in the memories and stories passed down through the ages. With a final glance back at the historical site, Max and Maya walked away, their hearts filled with a sense of fulfillment and reverence. They had become part of the story, custodians of a legacy that would endure long after they were gone. The woods were different now, no longer mysterious or eerie, but peaceful. The whispers now seemed welcoming, grateful. Max and Maya knew they had been changed by their experience. They carried the secret of the woods, a story of wonder and warning.
And though we never speak of it to anyone, we know the woods hold many more secrets.
Secrets whispered on the wind, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to listen. The woods held their breath, waiting for the next adventure to unfold.